Elections are regular in every democratic setting. It's a process of selection of leaders where electorate, that's citizens of a country, especially those who are of age to vote, who are qualified to vote, can decide who it is they want to put in positions of authority over a 4-year period, as the case may be, based on how different countries run their electoral process. Welcome to another edition of Power Chat, right here on Democracy Radio 104.9 FM, Abuja. My name is Uju Nwachukwu, also known as Her Vocal Majesty. Today, we're talking elections. And we have the singular honor of hosting Dr. Shehu Abdul Wahab, Resident Electoral Commissioner, Nasarawa State, with us in the studio. It's an honor to have you here, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you. All right, elections. There's a lot to talk about elections. Let's begin first by talking about your role as Resident Electoral Commissioner. What does that actually mean in the real sense of it?
Okay, thank you. Let me, like I usually do, commend your station, Democracy Radio, for deeming it fit to invite me. And let me comment generally the nature of your mission. Your mission to be a mouthpiece and a voice for the people of this country.
Thank you.
Yes, I am the Resident Electoral Commissioner, Nasarawa State. In the INEC structure, INEC is one family. Mm-hmm. And if you check the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is the commission of 13 members, chairman, and 12 national commissioners, who the Constitution have further stated their functions. Along the line, you will also see the resident electoral commissioners. The resident electoral commissioners are in charge of each state.
Yeah.
So I am the resident electoral commissioner for Nasarawa State. By that, I'm in charge of facilitating the conduct of election and other electoral activities in Nasarawa State.
Okay. That's interesting. So you are literally the INEC, Nasarawa Citizen C.
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. So that means that's a lot of responsibility on you.
I think so.
Okay. I want us to, begin on a soft platform. What does a typical day in your office look like? Because if you are the INEC that the people of Nasarawa see, if you're the one we hold responsible first before we come to Abuja INEC or National INEC, what does your day look like typically?
Okay, thank you. The typical day of a resident electoral commissioner is directly proportional to the nature of electoral activity. Mm-hmm. Right now, we are doing continuous voter registration. So my typical day for a CVR is not the same thing my day will be if election is tomorrow.
Oh, right.
So but I want to understand that your question is targeting how a resident electoral commissioner feels when there is election.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's the one that will be. Yeah, typically, an election day is the day when all the plans, all the deployment you have done, you are asking yourself, are they all right? So typically you wake up very early. If you ever slept the day before,
all, yes.
You are now waiting, hoping and believing and praying that everything just goes well. That all you have done, things are as planned. So in one beat, you are looking at your phone, but you are wishing the phone does not ring. Because you really don't know what's the question that will come from the end where such calls may be coming from. So your typical day, you wake up early, you try to confirm that all that you have done are in place and that your men and materials are moving to the field as expected.
Right.
Nigerians do start election by 8:30 or thereabouts, but a typical polling unit should be up by 7:30.
Okay.
So a resident electoral commissioner is busy confirming that all the locations where men and materials are supposed to be deployed the eve of election, those things are done as expected. And to be sure that at the dot of 8:30, election polling can start. So it's a day of anxiety. You are really I hope things are, because election can be a very, very interesting activity, human endeavor.
Right. So during electoral activities, like you just described, the day before elections and the day of election, that means then or that gives the feeling that prior to that day, a lot of activities have gone on.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So
Oh, yes.
run us through a typical cycle before the day of elections.
Yeah. Typically, a lot of activities goes to before we get to election day. Let me just take, not in no particular order, really.
Yes.
Issues of party primaries, campaigns are taking place much earlier. Receipt of electoral materials had also taken place. In fact, our electoral materials are actually in two phases. We have the sensitive and the non-sensitive electoral materials. Non-sensitive electoral materials are often, will have arrived the states latest 3 weeks to election.
Okay.
And they don't just arrive, they are deployed to the field.
Okay.
Now, sensitive materials, by that we are referring to ballot papers, election result sheets, and the almighty beavers. Those ones come a little later, maybe a week to election and few days. Kept in the CBN and straight from CBN deployed to the local government. And when they get to the local government, they are housed there, remain there, and the distribution starts a day to election. Distribution from local government to the where we call the rack. That's where the poll officials sleep a night to election.
Right.
So material leave local government and move to that level. And then from there, it moves to... So typically, 48 hours to election, all materials are gone from the state office where the resident electoral commissioner is seated. So what you now find is monitoring and supervision, confirming that the other levels are being activated as at when due. You understand? Ensuring that the rack centers where our poll workers are going to be sleeping, coppers and other, the places are well kept, the lighting is done, the infrastructure to make the place comfortable has been done as expected. So in those 48 hours, a resident electoral commissioner is busy ensuring that everything is in place, including the little stipend that you give those poll workers before the election day. Ensure that money gets released to them and the rest of them.
Wow.
So, a state office of INEC is more of supervision when it remains by 48 hours. By that time, all materials are gone.
So,
I mean, and men are also deployed. The only set of officials you'll be waiting for are the collation officers who will be coming on election day.
right.
And then you move them. They come if eve of election, then you now move them on election day because their own work will not start until the afternoon of election.
Interesting. So, in the course of these activities, want to believe that deploying security personnel was not just on the day of election, because you talked about sensitive materials, talked about individuals. Yes.
Let's get something about even the functioning of the security. Even when there is no election,
Yes.
we have security personnel at all locations. As we speak now, there is a police force, Nigerian police force office in every local government who form part of the people that are used for elections. But because you are not talking of a general election, you now find additional policemen that are based in other locations, state command of the police and other locations being deployed in addition to those ones that are at the local government level. All of these men are already out there,
Right.
48 hours to election.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. And that is very reassuring.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Now, from what you've described, we literally are seeing the entire process prior to election day. Is it exactly the same at what happens at the national level? So you are the REC, and you are coordinating at the state level. Is it exactly the same, or are there some differences?
Yes, no, there's no difference in the sense that, like I told you, INEC is just one single family.
Yeah.
The structure of INEC, maybe that will help us. At the national level, you also have the commissioners that you have also supervise group of states. They are national commissioners. They also supervise group of states.
Okay.
So you find typically, for instance, that the commissioner, the supervising my state, is the same commissioner that is supervising Kaduna, supervising FCT.
Right.
Don't forget, FCT is also FCT is also a structure, like a state structure. So each of the national commissioners supervise an average of 3 to 4 states.
Okay.
If you remember, Nigeria is 36 plus
Yes.
FCT. So,
Yes.
and they are 12. So they spread this among themselves for ease of. So, as I am coordinating, the big man in Abuja too is talking to me
Coordinate, yes.
to be sure that everything is in place. And when I need anything, if any particular material or things are needed and have not arrived, I won't be bothering the chairman. Commissioner, I've not seen this stuff. Please, let me have it. So it is his own problem too to ensure that I get what I need, because it is him they will ask questions before they ask me.
Fantastic. So it's a fine web of
Yes.
different moving parts
Yes,
to ensure that elections are smooth and successful. All right, that's great. Now let's talk about voter education and participation. So you've mentioned continuous voter registration currently going on. How can people take advantages of it? Because what we find is, close to election, it's like there's a mad rush. I have not registered. Or when the date, for the voter registration is nearing, the date for the procedure to end is nearing, everybody suddenly remembers. How long does continuous voters registration last before elections?
Okay. Thank you. Let me start by, again, for the purpose of our listeners, continuous voter registration is part of those key electoral activities of INEC designed to bring on board those set of Nigerians who have not had the chance to have their name on the register, or those either on account of never registering before or on account of just attaining 18 years, which is the threshold for you to become a voter. So CVR is an actualization of the provisions of the Electoral Act, which request and that demand that INEC on a continuous basis compile and maintain the voter register. So CVR is an activity to ensure that we give meaning to the provisions of the law by making it possible for people who have not yet in the register to come in. The key thing to note about CVR is that there exists an existing register. Continuous. So there is a register. Continuous is just qualifying that register. So it's important we get these facts so that we know that what we are doing currently, CVR, is not a fresh registration. Because we have also found that people go to these centers even when they are already in our register. They sometimes make the mistake of thinking that they can also go in. Now, how do people take advantage of it? Indeed, you cannot vote in Nigeria except you are a registrant. So we have opened the window for such category of Nigerians to be able to have their name on the register. But it's important to also let us know that CVR is beyond putting new registrants. There are quite a number of other activities this window has provided. Apart from those who are just becoming 18 or those who are already 18 but never registered before, we have quite a number of other activities that are accomplished during this CVR. These include those who want to change the details of the particulars of their names on the register. And I give the typical example of female gender. You are single, now you are married. You desire to have the name of your husband in your voter's card and your register. This is an opportunity for you to do that. Or you want to transfer your registration from one point to another, from one state to another state, or from one local government to another local government within your area council, as the case may be. This is also an opportunity for you to do that. We are also using this same period for those who have been registered, whose cards have been produced, but have not collected those cards. So again, we are using this period to do that. Or those who have lost their card. This period is also there for them to do that. And quite importantly, CVR is also a window for Nigerians to take advantage of the expansion of polling units, which we did before 2023 election, but where people have not really populated. What that means is that INEC created a number of polling units before 2023 election with the view of decongesting the existing polling units. But what we found is that there are still several of these new units that are not having many registrants. So the intention of INEC to make election easier for those congested polling units, we are not yet realizing it because people have refused to move their registration to this. So you find that a unit is still having 2,000 And nearby, there's another unit having just 42 registrants.
Okay.
So if only our Nigerian citizens can move their registration to these new ones, making election a lot easier would be good for every one of us. So this period
Yes.
is also part of what this exercise is.
Could it be a factor of them not being aware that, oh, nothing changes if I move from this particular polling unit I've used for so long to this new one?
Fine, I accept. It could be they are not aware. It could be the tendency for human beings to not to change. You are just used to doing this thing the same way. And that is why for us as commissioners, the lot of our advocacy is also around these issues.
Okay.
And we've had to use the traditional rulers to speak to the people that please, moving from here does not change anything. You still have your registration status and everything, and to meet them. And then we also engage some other community-based associations to come to our aid, to get their people to know that moving from here to here is just for the good of everyone. Sometimes people tell you very funny thing why they don't want to move. They say they enjoy the way they make noise among themselves. That if you take them off their friends, the thing will lose its fun. That election day is also a day of fun, and that moving from one point is disconnecting them from their traditional, setting where they so. But to answer the question, CVR is also doing that. How do we take advantage of it? Taking advantage of technology, CVR is made a lot easier. Unlike before, when all of these activities, you have to get to INEC registration center. With the use of technology, a number of these activities can be accomplished as we are seated here. As we are doing this program, other guys that are not here can be doing all this, a number of these, including pre-registration. I can transfer. You can do your transfer in the comfort of your bedroom. And it's very simple. Wow. You can change the particulars of your registration. You can key in, you can transfer, you can report missing item PVC right on your phone. And it's so simple. But when you are unable to do all of these things, come to INEC office. People are there to assist
for you. Okay. Does this point the responsibility back to INEC to say probably people are not well informed or well educated about it? Because, we're still talking voter education and participation. So if participation has been affected, meaning that if people are not doing what they ought to do on their phones, maybe they're not well informed or well educated.
Yeah, it's not. I won't be able to. We've not done any research around that.
Right.
But what we've also realized is that you need to keep telling people this thing on again and again, and we are doing that.
Okay.
We continue to run radio jingles and all over, telling people. But one funny thing that I've also found, and that will be, you'll be marveled. Those who are educated, who listens to radio, they will still call my name, Wahab. I want to transfer. I said, that is the advert that you listened to just a while ago. They know that an advert is being run, a radio jingle is being aired, and they're not listening to the details of that message being read. It's even that radio jingle that made them remember they want to call me. And they will now call me that I want to do transfer of my... I said, but this is something you can do. Okay, I'll send you the link for you to do it.
Okay.
So we continue to speak to ourselves so that many more Nigerians will be able to know. Particularly because this dimension of using technology to do some of these things in the comfort of your home is not yet, I feel, not... many more Nigerians need to know about it. But if I use the figure that we are getting, several million, not less than 10, 11 million have already done pre-registration using this same...
That's quite encouraging. So talking about voter apathy, with a population as much as Nigerians and as much as Nigeria has, even though there's nothing official, 200 million, 240, there are different statistics, which is not exactly what we're talking about here. The turnout, would you say that it's commensurate? Does it give off the value of the amount of people who have turned 18 in Nigeria?
No.
So does that speak to voter apathy, or does this speak to what exactly would you point that to? If we have close to, let's assume half of the population, that's over 100 million are adults.
Those who are registered in our database now is in the excess of 80 million.
80 million. That's not enough.
But we found that the Nigerians that elected the president, that's the president, number one citizen of this country, Put all the votes of all the parties across,
Yes.
because it's not really about the vote of those that voted for. All the candidates, if you put all the votes together, we are still talking of something in the region of 20-something percent of the total population. If democracy is about number, definitely 20 out of 80 is not too good. It will be a pass. Even with the most liberal marking, 40% will be the acceptable. So what are we saying? There is no doubt that the number of people that are coming out to participate in electoral activities is not quite encouraging. Now, why? Several factors, in my view, will be responsible for that. Several. One could be how much of voter education did we do? How much of voter education has been done? Not only by us, by all the stakeholders that are responsible for bringing people out. That could be a factor. It could also be a reaction by the people to the bigger picture, which is governance. Because the key thing you hear now is democracy, dividend of democracy. If people are not feeling satisfied with what the democracy is bringing, one way of reacting is not to participate. And then you will not be able to know, is it that we didn't mobilize him enough, or that he's just been recalcitrant? Since we are not in a position to even measure that, I think for all those agencies that are tasked with getting people out to participate, is also to try and rejig and explore other ways by which you can get people to come out to vote or participate in electoral activities. For us in INEC, I think a number of activities and things we do are quite encouraging and makes it easier for people to get involved. I want to speak about technology again. The more we devise ways of making the process simpler, we have a feeling it's itself an appetite to bring you to come and be part of it. Since we have, for instance, made this CVR so easy that you can start the process right in the comfort of your home, it's itself an incentive for you to come on board. So if you start the process, it only requires you to go and take photograph at the INEC office. You'll be encouraged that when you have to come fresh to take all the troubles and so I think that is one thing that INEC will have to continue to leverage on to get people on board. Now, talking about the election itself, people will feel encouraged to participate in the electoral process when they feel that their vote is going to count. Again, by using technology, which increasingly reduces human interference, I believe is another thing that is encouraging and itself is a strategy of bringing people to participate. If I know that in all the people that were elected in my area, it's a true reflection of those that people voted for. If those people don't perform, it's a different ball game, which is not business of INEC. You should ask yourself, the citizen, why do you vote people that are not delivering? But at least we will have succeeded. We will have ensured that we enable the people of the country, of the community, or the constituency to truly choose who they want. So we'll continue to do that. But it's not only INEC. Mobilizing people to participate in electoral activities is beyond what INEC is expected to do. Political parties have a lot of roles to play. After all, they are the ones that need the votes of the people. National Orientation Agency has a role to play in mobilizing and quite a number of other stakeholders, including Democracy Radio.
Definitely. And that's part of why we're having conversations like this early on. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we're going to be talking about inclusivity, the vulnerable part of society. Who ensures that they participate in elections? Don't go away. Welcome back. It's still Power Chat on Democracy Radio 104.9 FM Abuja. And I have Dr. Shehu Abdul Wahab, Resident Electoral Commissioner, Nasarawa State, with me in the studio. Before we went on the break, we said that we're going to be looking at the vulnerable segment of society, women, young people, as well as people with disabilities. What exactly is INEC doing differently with regard to this select members of the society?
Oh, thank you. INEC is quite conscious of its primary mission, which is not just to conduct election, but to ensure that all those who are eligible are able to participate. And by that, we are referring to all those who are 18 and above, irrespective of the state of their disability or their categorization in terms of vulnerability. And I think a lot has been done around that to ensure that we give meaning to that basic mission of yes, with particular reference to, but we are also conscious as a commission that there are certain categories of Nigerians that we consider as vulnerable and are being threatened, marginalized, as is being touted. One, the youth, women, and people with disability. We've gone beyond the rhetorics, and we have actually matched our words with our actions by ensuring that this set of persons are not left out at all. One of the things we did is to first of all have a policy around this segment of Nigerians. INEC has a policy on all of these key marginalized group. Gender, there's gender policy in INEC. We have policy on PWD and youth that is in place. We then went beyond the policy to have structure. Commission now has a department that is called JID, Gender and Inclusivity Department. It is deliberate. It is trying to give meaning to what the policy has set out to do by creating a separate department for this set of people to see as their own. You know, it's like you are coming into a building, you have a particular characteristics. When you see somebody in that building that is like you feel a bit comfortable. So having a department that we call Gender and Inclusivity Department, we see it as another step in making this marginalized group feel at home. So when you come in and you have a place you can take your issues to, you'll be much more comfortable than when you have to take that same issue to a general department. So I think that should be acknowledged as one of those things INEC has done. And I have also, with the other thing we've done, is that some of our processes has also helped to address the challenges of this group. The use of technology has brought the youth easily to the fray. So much so that you don't need to stretch your neck to see the result. The CVR that we are doing right now, go and check the statistics. Youth forms 60 to 70% of all the people that have gone for pre-registration, which I think is a major effort by our own processes that readily brings them on board. The second, very and quite interesting, but that one may not be too surprising, are the women. Again, the figure that we are getting from the CVR, this CVR that we have started, again shows that women are in the lead. But of course, women have always been in the lead as far as registration, as far as voting is concerned. Now, to the PWD, a lot has equally been done, and I'm not mouthing this. No Nigerian is excluded on account of their state of disability, starting from the time you are doing registration. If you don't have any of your fingers functioning, there is a provision in the app for registration right now that will still be able to take your other details and you'll be able to vote. You have visual impairment. There is a section where you indicate what your impairment is, the nature of disability, and the thing will take it. They are for two purposes. One, to ensure that you are registered. And two, we are taking the statistics of all these persons for election planning, such that at the end of the day, we will now be in a position to say that in polling unit A, B, C, D, and F, we have 7 of this category of disability here. We have 3 of this disability. When we have that statistics, it also tells us the kind of materials that we are moving into those places. We have magnifying glasses for those who cannot see. We will know where to, because these things are also very expensive. And we cannot afford to have it in every unit. So when we have the data, we know how to provide for those categories of Nigerians as fast. Even in terms of the way we cite our polling booths, we mine the data that we have mined during this CVR to know that, okay, this unit, we are having a number of people that will have a physical disability. So putting up a polling booth on a I mean, not on the ground, could be a disadvantage for them because they may not be able to climb. So this we have also done. And a lot of our advocacy focus on this group. And one thing we have done to enhance the participation of this category of Nigerian is to work with their organizations. So INEC work with all PWD associations closely before, during, and even after the election to ensure that they are able to participate.
All right.
For women,
yes, go ahead.
We desire that they should go beyond voting. They should also be contestants. And Commission has been the lead of advocating for the women to be more represented by political parties. But what INEC will do is a function of what the law allows.
Allows, definitely. All right, so you've talked about the provisions that INEC has made, the policies, etc. What about the INEC ad hoc staff and the INEC staff? Are they trained to meet these people at the exact point of their needs?
Not only that they trained, from the point of recruitment, INEC ensures that we recruit many youth. If our youth forms 90% of ad hoc staff on election day. Okay. Because naturally, corpers, non-corpers are basically youth. Two, we ensure consciously that we have women, we have female gender among the ad hoc staff. We basically ensure that. And then the PWDs, we also encourage, we recruit PWDs because we are again conscious that if you come as a PWD and you meet your fellow person as an official of INEC, there is a way you will feel. You feel at home, you feel welcomed. We also consciously ensure that we do this. And then training. We train our officials to treat all of the vulnerable groups with respect. Elderly, men or women, pregnant women, we make sure that these people are trained. And we have started CVR, and go to any of our centers, you will see this in display.
That's quite interesting. All right. Now, let's go back a little bit to technology and reforms, but specifically the BVAS, the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, and other technologies that were introduced recently. Have they had any particular impact in Nasarawa State?
No, it has. All the technologies are to be applied and have always been applied for all our elections. 2023, BVAS was used. Funny, I was in Benue State during the election. I got to Nasarawa after the election. But BVAS was used in Nasarawa. Right now, we are using IVED. BVAS is IVED. Sorry. IVED is INEC Voter Enrollment Device. It is that same thing that is called IVED that becomes BVAS on election day.
Right.
It's just programming. It's just so during registration, we call it IVED, INEC Voter Enrollment Device. During election, we use the same thing configured to now serve for accreditation as BVAS, Bimodal Voter Accreditation System. So we are using it in Nasarawa. We are using IVED right now, and that's the only instrument that we are using for the electoral life, for the
and it has impacted greatly, positively, hopefully.
Yes, that's the only method. That's the only thing we are using, and it's working well. As any technology, the more you use it, for every technology undergoes 3 phases. The burning phase. Burning phase is the stage when you are first using a technology. There will be some failure because it is just coming in. Then you have the period when it is on cruise control. It operates at its maximum. And when it has been used for several cycles, it starts having failure again. IVED BVAS is at its cruise control level now. And you can check that out. BVAS is working, IVED is working at 89, 90, 95% efficiency across the country, not Nasarawa alone.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the truth. And that applies for all technology. Ours is not different. It is working. You're not hearing anybody complaining. What people are complaining about CVR is not that the machine is not functioning or that the machine is delayed. No. They will be complaining that INEC should have carried the thing to lower level. They should but not that the machine is not working. The technologies are working better by the day because the mastery of the thing is even better. Coverage is also being improved every day by the service provider. So I think we're good to go.
Are we looking forward to seeing more technological advancements, more inclusion based off of global standards?
Okay. What Nigeria has deployed so far for its electoral process is awesome.
Okay.
People focus really only on beavers, but technology has been deployed to not less than 12 electoral activities in this country. But some of these activities are activities that are seen as internal. They are technologies deployed to enhance the efficiency of INEC administration of election,
Right. Okay.
while some are technologies that have to do with the people. So
Okay.
that's the one that people talk about,
A
beavers and
lot.
the rest of
Yes.
it.
All right.
So for me, we have a task of consolidating on all of these technologies first. Get it to be owned. Continue to deepen the mastery of this technology and get more buy-in. Increase the trust of the people in this technology that it is working,
Yes.
and they should continue to embrace it, because taxpayers' money is being used to buy some of these things. So what I'm saying in essence is that even if we go into 2027 with what we have been able to do, honestly, compare Nigeria with other democracies, we are not doing badly.
Okay.
That is not to say that we cannot go into other areas of technology. But again, technology has also gone beyond where we are. But there is no point taking on board new things. For me, consolidate on the ones
On the
you
ones
are,
you
you are
currently
using,
have
so
that
that
are
it
working.
becomes that are working,
Okay.
so that it's almost like nothing is wrong with any of those
right.
those things.
All right, that's another way to look at it. And now let's talk about challenges. I know it has not been smooth. Everything seems to, from everything you've said, looks like, oh, smooth
All is well.
running. But what are the major challenges that INEC faces, during elections with regards to Nasarawa State? That's your
Technology generally.
generally,
No.
yes.
Conducting election is never a tea party. And has been said by analysts, apart from war, electoral activity, a typical general election is the next most difficult human endeavor, because it is the only activity that brings the highest number of people to be doing the same thing around the same time across a whole country. Nothing comes near that.
Okay.
If war is left for the military, election is the most singular activity by civilians in terms of the use of logistics, in terms of the no other activities compared to that. No, not even population census. Because population census is run over a week. Election must take place. Polling is expected to start the same time across the country. Closing of poll across the country. Collation. It's like everything has time. So it's so why I brought all of this is for people to appreciate that conducting election is never an easy task. And that is why you find that some of the challenges that people complain, you wonder, but this thing happened in 2019. Why is this still happening? Why have we not solved it? Because the country has not changed. The terrain of this country is still as we have known it. The mountainous area, the riverine area is there, the desert area is there. So conducting election will continue to have issues bordering on logistics. But what we've been trying to do is, how do we solve a problem that happened last year? How have we learned our lessons from them in order to improve on them? So if you ask me what are the challenges of conducting election, Nasarawa State, for instance, is a 13 local government state. By that, you are just 13 local governments. But Nasarawa has not less than, in terms of terrain, it is a very, very difficult place to conduct elections. There are quite a number of polling units in Nasarawa State that to get to their unit, you must cross another local government. You are in Nasarawa local government. That's the local government in my state. But for you to conduct election in Nasarawa, you have to come to Lafia for some unit. You come back to another. If I'm coming to Lafia, you will pass Kefi, you will pass Nasarawa Egon, you now come to Lafia. You are crossing three local governments because you are going to some unit in Nasarawa local government. That is how tough it can be. So we have the challenge of topography. Very mountainous areas are there in Nasarawa. So we face the natural problem of logistics. How do you ensure that you are able to plan your election in a manner that those units that are not within, they are in the same local government geographically, but to reach out to them, you must cross other paths. What mechanism how do you design your election and movement of materials such that people don't have to go to that local government if where they are going to vote is this place? In doing that, it requires a lot of coordination, stakeholder endorsement. How do you get political parties to understand that there's no point moving the materials of unit ABC to Nasarawa local government? They can pick it from Lafia. Since Lafia is closer to that place than for them to go, if you don't even plan all of these things very well, you run the risk of saying, he has already collected the material, he wants to go and do something with it. They've forgotten that you are trying to solve a problem of last election when it took them 4 hours to get to those units.
Okay.
So there is challenge of logistics.
Okay.
There is a challenge of commitment by stakeholders. And it's important we say this on a program like this because everybody blame INEC.
INEC, yeah.
People don't also realize the role that they've played. A lot of our activities have been, we have been assisted by service provider. How many vehicles do we have? We need the bulk of our vehicles that we use for elections are taken from NURTW and NATO. They've been wonderful, but we have also faced issues with them. Okay. They see election as a time to make money. So what they ordinarily do for 5,000, they will tell INEC 15,000, nothing moves. And that will have been after you have assured them of where to pick fuel and all that. They will tell you 15 or nothing more. And they all know that same task requires just about 5,000. They insist on 15,000 and you have to pay them. So we face this challenge. Not only that you're paying so much, you're not even getting value for money. The vehicles that they bring are not serviced. So how do you explain this? Meanwhile, Nigerians don't know about them. It is INEC. Yeah. So you also face that challenge. The third area of challenge is trust.
Okay.
Trust can be, in fact, that's for me, is occupying a much, much higher pedestal in the challenges that we face. Everything, look at the way we have described what technology can do and what it's doing. You still find out there quite a high level of pessimism on the part of the people. No, it will not work. They already know the winner. Even when you know that Beavers has succeeded in reducing the number of people that are able to vote to strictly those that were accredited, which is a major development. At the end of the no, they will stick. So that is a huge disservice. Because like, I mean, by every standard, you're a black woman, like the way we call it by color. And somebody said you are white. I mean, how do you, everybody knows, and he keeps saying, no, she's white. At a point, you look at the mirror yourself, am I really black? Because when a lie is told over and over, you begin to think that it is true. So I think we have a duty to begin to also unlearn ourselves and embrace the changes, positive changes that are also happening to our electoral process.
Well, I totally understand where you're coming from because that's a natural reaction to a typical man on the streets would just assume based off of past experiences. So some people would say it's trauma, you know, from past hurt. But like you said, it's a continuous process, and all the stakeholders have to be involved. It cannot only be INEC. Thank you for taking us backstage to understand some of the things that happen on election day, why some materials arrive late and all that. Because, you know, when you hear respondents on interviews, live interviews there and there, INEC, but sometimes it's not all INEC. Thank you for letting us in on that particular challenge. Now, let's, as we begin to wrap up, let's talk about what INEC can do. And when I say INEC now, I'm talking about you as the INEC of Nasarawa State.
Okay, fine.
Yes. What can we do differently in the forthcoming election? What do you think we can do? Since you said, we cannot brazenly introduce new technology since the one we have is currently working. We're looking to consolidate what we already have. Is there anything new you think that can be introduced, big, small, that would make a difference in the next elections?
Yeah, I think that what we need to do, like since I got to a place like Nasarawa State, I've been looking at this issue of the manner of deployment of election materials. And a lot of my engagement with stakeholders will be to say that let's all of us look at the map. If for election to start at so polling units, I don't have to carry material to the headquarters of the local government.
Yes.
Then why not we have another arrangement by which the materials for such units are closer to where they are needed.
Okay.
We have a special arrangement whereby you deploy those materials in a manner that they can now arrive and be ready for use. I want to pursue that very vigorously.
Okay.
Very vigorously. well, let's unpack the thing and bring it up in a manner that we can get. The second thing that I think we also need to do, I intend to do. The people elections have been very wonderful. The past administrators have also done so well. Is to deepen my engagement with the stakeholders, deepen my engagement, bring out all the issues that constitute problem areas, and bringing them to solve the problems together. I've just spoken about service providers now.
Yes.
I had a meeting with NURTW just last week. The new leadership came to, no, NATO. They came to greet me, to introduce themselves. And I told them that things will not be done the same way.
Right.
Things will not be done the same way. You guys must change the way you also operate. If we have elected to pay you what we are obligated to pay you, then you guys must also be ready to. And anything that has to be done to get you to do it. So I intend to drag all other stakeholders to see what the other one is doing or is not doing.
Okay.
Because we just can't do things the same way. Right. We have an obligation to, in fact, the resources are not even there. We need to be more prudent with the way we use these resources and be able to get results. INEC, election is not the only thing that the state is spending money on. And anybody who's an administrator should be conscious of the global economic environment and how it is likely to impact on you as an administrator. I mean, INEC will face the challenge that other ministries and agencies are facing. So the earlier we are able to come up with a better way of managing our resources, the better. The Honorable Chairman has made it clear. It was part of our marching order. Guys, it's not business as usual. You guys must come up with other better ways of managing resources. And honestly, even in internal administration, things are changing in my state because we had to deploy resources more efficiently and we are getting results. So if I'm getting results with the way I manage it internally, I believe that similar things should be visited to the other stakeholder. And I believe that we'll get results.
Fantastic. Getting results is key because Nigerians are at a point where they want to see more action, less promises, and more actions. I've been talking with Dr. Shehu Abdul Wahab, Resident Electoral Commission, Nasarawa State. I cannot believe the amount of time we spent here talking about elections. It's been quite an eye-opener. And to you who has sat back and watched and sat back and listened, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is your civic responsibility. It is your civic duty. But you see, when you have a mindset that it failed in the past or I wasn't satisfied in the past, I'm not going to try again, that is what causes us to not have the kind of success that we look forward to. So while the INEC officials are doing their part, you have a role to play. Ask all of the questions that you want to ask. Don't dwell in ignorance. If you're not sure, pick up your phone and Google it. And if you're still not sure, go to the nearest INEC office around you and ask a living human any question that you want and get the clarity that you deserve. Thank you for being a part of our chat today, sir.
Thank you so much.
Time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Remember, you can always come back to this video on our YouTube page. That's at Democracy Radio 104.9 FM Abuja. Or you can listen to us on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. on the dial 104.9 FM Abuja. My name is Ujun Wachuku. Do enjoy the rest of your day.